Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we're taking a look at the Scooby-Doo main characters. Now Scooby-Doo is a show that I absolutely loved as a kid. Growing up I watched, countless episodes. I watched like pretty much all the movies. I've even seen like the two big live action movies that they made, which I'll admit were not the best movies in the world, but they were pretty fun. I think they're worth a watch if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, and I think the casting for Shaggy in that movie was just fantastic. I mean, they got him perfectly right, and honestly, all the castings in it were pretty good, but Shaggy's especially really went above and beyond. But as I said, Scooby-Doo, it's got a special place in my heart. Really love the show. I loved watching this show growing up, and then trying to figure out who the villain was going to be before the big reveal at the end. And when I make a prediction and I got it right at the end of the episode, let me tell you guys, there's no better feeling. But the way I'm going to be ranking these is just ranking these characters based on how much I like them in each of the episodes, how much do I feel like they added, did they add a lot of value, add a little value, and that's pretty much it. So starting us off, we have Fred, of course, the leader of the group. Usually the one organizing the plans, figuring out what people are gonna do. When are we gonna split up? But honestly, I don't think Fred is that smart. I think he's all looks and no brain, because his plans sometimes they're pretty smart, but he's always sending Scooby and Shaggy off on their own, which they're gonna end up being the ones finding the monster, and they're gonna be the ones not able to figure out what to do. So Fred, he's a good guy, he's got a good heart, but as a leader he's a bit misguided and not exactly the smartest character. I do feel like he adds a decent amount of value to the group, with him saying hey gang 24 times an episode. But for me, Fred gonna find himself in the B tier. Up next we have Velma. Honestly, Velma, pretty much all I can remember from Velma in every single episode is her just losing her glasses. The glasses, they fall on the ground. She's searching around for them, with her hands, and then the monster or the villain is right there, and she like puts her hands on the villain and is like, oh, is this my glasses? Like, no, Velma, that's the villain. It's a pretty overdone trope, but honestly it made me laugh every time. But I will say, Velma, not my favorite character, but she was usually the one with the Scooby snacks typically, which that's gonna be enough to bump her up into the A tier. Up next we have Daphne. Now of course Fred and Daphne, the couple that should have been but never really was. But honestly, I think Daphne's a pretty good character. I think especially in the live action movies, I actually like Daphne's character there more, because I think she really leans into the super pompous, super manicured person. But I think in the shows and the movies, the older ones, she's not quite as interesting of a character. I do think that she has some redeeming aspects, but looking mostly at like the older shows and the older movies, there's not really a whole lot that's super interesting about Daphne, so she will find herself down in the C tier. Up next we have Shaggy. Honestly, just hilarious, whether you're watching the old shows and the old movies or the live action one. I mean, Shaggy is he's a fantastic character, probably my favorite character, I would say. He's just so funny, so goofy. The voice actor, just does a fantastic job in the old Scooby-Doos, and in the new Scooby-Doo, the new live action one. I think the actor there does a great job as well. Shaggy, honestly, nothing bad I can say about him. Gonna find himself in a very solid S tier. Up next we have Scooby-Doo. I mean, where would the show be without Scooby-Doo? You gotta love Scooby-Doo. The way he talks, the way he acts, even just the way he's animated, it's just all so perfect. Scooby-Doo really makes the show. If this show was just called, like, I don't know, the Mystery Gang or something, and it was just these 4 people solving mysteries, it would still be a good show. It'd be decent, but it wouldn't be where it's at today. We need Scooby-Doo. He's the best. Gonna be up in the S tier, that's for sure. Last but not least, well, I say but not least, but he kind of is the least for me, is Scrappy-Doo. Now in the old movies and TV shows, he would make an occasional appearance. Wasn't always there, but he would show up sometimes. But usually when he would show up, it wasn't anything super interesting. If you watch the live action Scooby-Doo movies, he was the main villain behind the first one, which I thought was kind of an interesting plot twist, but I was never really super impressed with Scrappy-Doo. Never really thought that he added a whole lot of value to any of the episodes, so unfortunately gonna find himself down in the D tier. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.